So, thank you all for joining our alert origination software presentations. Today, I have some administrative notes for you to be able to join, but we're all here, so I think we've all joined successfully. If you want a copy of this webinar, you can request one at justin.singer@fema.dhs.gov. All questions will be answered at the end of this webinar in the order that they are received, and to ask a question, you can just do so in the Q&A box at the bottom right of your screen. Now, I have a disclaimer that I must read. The Integrated Public Alert and Warning System, IPAWS, vendor demonstrations are intended to increase state and local emergency management agencies' awareness of vendor products and IPAWS capabilities. The webinar provides an overview of the interoperability of these systems with IPAWS Open and will include vendor presentations of their products. FEMA's IPAWS Program Management Office encourages and facilitates this discussion of products and tools, but it does not endorse any specific vendor's products. This webinar is for educational purposes only. And for today's demonstration, we're going to be watching the demonstration of on-the-go alerting presented by Kirby Rice. And for any vendor-specific questions, you can email them directly to him at kirby.rice@otgalerting.com. And Kirby, if you're ready, I'm going to make you the presenter. So that
all right, sounds good. Let me get a screen shared out here for everybody, and we will get going. All right, everybody should see a splash page if that works. Everybody hear me okay?
I can hear you loud and clear, Kirby.
All right, sounds good. Well, let's go ahead and get rolling. I'm going to try and take a few minutes to give you a little bit of an overview here, tell you a little bit about the purpose of our software, some of our systems and environments, and then we'll talk about the features of our software, give us a demonstration, and hopefully if I speak fast enough and clear enough, we'll have some time for a QA at the end. So I hope all is ready to go, and let's see where we are here. All right, so on-the-go alerting is owned by parent company KD Technology. The first release of our software was in 2012. It was released as an iPad application only. In 2018, we moved that over to a mobile-friendly web application, so it is device agnostic. You can use it anywhere from a cell phone, iPad, computer, as it's just a web application. It does have full IPAWS functionality, EAS, WIA, NWIM, and cog-to-cog messaging. You can send those messages to one or multiple of those dissemination channels at a time. We try and be a low-cost fixed annual license per cog, and that's kind of where our aim is. We've always designed this to really provide a service for the small or maybe some of the financially challenged emergency management resources across the nation. And by keeping our focus just on IPAWS as our dissemination channels, and keeping a simplified interface, we've just had the pleasure of being blessed to do that for the past 9 years. So into it, how we have our systems currently set up, they're all cloud-based in a US-based cloud. We have two completely separate and distinct systems. One of them is at the URL training.onthegoalerting.com. That connects directly to the IPAWS test lab and is used by any of our users for sending test messages, as well as their monthly compliance, meeting the requirements for that. OnTheGoAlerting.com is our live environment. That is, all of those messages go directly out to the public from each cog. So go through the IPAWS open system. We do have a separate username and password for each one of those systems. It's controlled by the users and managed by the users. So they could have the same username password combination, or they could use separate for each one of them. We monitor both of those systems on a 24/7, 365 type of an environment. We get auto notifications if our systems are down and work to bring those back up if there should be any issues. Like I talked about, we do have our login separate for both our training and our live system. We also have two different types of users. We have cog administrators, which can actually manage the user permissions for the users in their cog, provide that permissioning to different people that sign up. And they can also manage their IPAWS digital certificates if they get renewed, if they need to load any type of information or change those, as well as testing them. A cog user is there so that they can either be set up for read-only purposes, or they can be set up to actually create and send alerts. Our capabilities are the Common Alerting Protocol 1.2 version that IPAWS uses. We do provide our users with a full historical list of their alerts that they have sent from their cog or received by their cog if it was a cog-to-cog message from another cog. They have the ability, as I said before, to send to multiple dissemination channels with one message. And we also give them the opportunity to update, cancel, or if they're receiving from another cog, acknowledge the messages. They can also target those based on geographic locations inside of their allowed cog areas that are assigned by IPAWS if they want to target it down to a smaller location. We support both English and Spanish information blocks in those messages, and we do support both the 90 and 360 character via text message capability. We also allow for a resource block to be added, either for generic message or to be used for EAS. You can have a URL that you add in for a recorded message to be played. You could attach a photo or record your own audio file in order to be attached. We do allow for alert templates to be created. This is a great way to prepare ahead of time if there is regular flooding in an area or something of that sort, to be able to create a template for it and save that off. Makes it much easier and quicker during the time of emergency. I'll show you how we manage those as we get into our demo. This is also where most of our clients are actually sending their monthly alerts with IPAWS through the use of a template, so they don't have to recreate it every month. Just bring it up and go ahead and send that when it's necessary. When we load a template, it obviously will upload or reset all of the effective and onset times for that message to make sure that it's going out in the current time, and update all of the data that's needed for current sending that. We do a lot of field validation and population at multiple points during the process. If you choose multiple dissemination channels, any of our drop-down boxes will be limited based on the dissemination channel event types or allowed parameters, so that you are making sure that that event goes out on every one of the channels that you've selected. We will also verify a message before it goes out, or an alert before it goes out through the IPAWS open system against the IPAWS standard, to make sure that everything that has been entered meets the standard to everything that has been published for us. We will also present back to the user any informational messages or error messages that come back from the IPAWS system after it's sent out. We also allow our users on the training system access to the IPAWS message viewer through a quick link, so that they can go and see exactly what IPAWS has received, processed, and sent out. And we'll show you that as well. So we're going to jump into a demonstration. This is kind of what I want to walk through in the demonstration. We'll show you logging into the system. We'll give you a full listing of the alerts. This is going to be my training cog, so there's a lot of alerts in there that may not make a whole lot of sense, but you'll see the list that's there. We're then going to go through and talk about how we can configure and manage our cog, how we can change our password if we need to. We'll walk through the alert creation process, and then we'll pull up a template and send the template and manage from that standpoint. Let me see if I can jump over there. Everybody should see our system up at this point. Let me see if I can move some things out of my way so I can see. All right, so I have gone to the URL for our training system for training.onthegooalerting.com. If you happen to always work on the training system and forget what the URL is for the live system, this will tell you we are on the training system, and we can switch over to the live system if we like. This is only done prior to logging in, so that you make sure that you're logging into the right system. Once you have logged in, that's the system you're on for your session. So to sign in, I am actually going to today sign in as an administrator so that I can show you some of the cog settings. Let's go ahead and get into the system. So I've logged into the system. I'm immediately presented with the alerts page This shows me all of the alerts that I have either received or sent through the IPAWS open system. You'll notice 2 of them are in red here. That means that they are active. They have not yet hit their expiration time. So those are still in the IPAWS system and active, would be being sent out to any of the dissemination channels as needed during the time period. I can, for any active alert that has been sent from my COG, cancel that alert, hit yes, and it will send the cancellation to IPAWS. I get back all of the information from IPAWS that I sent as part of the alert, as well as the informational codes that come back that tell me what exactly took place with that alert when it was canceled. We'll get into that a little bit more when we send another one in a bit. Let me go back to the alerts
Kirby,
page. Yes,
this
go
is
ahead.
Kiera with the lab. I just want to chime in and let you know we're not seeing your screen right now.
Oh, well, that's not helping anybody, is it? Thank you. Let me. All right, here we go. Sorry, I only have half of the applications going. So let me, real quick, replace where I was. You can see my screen now, Kiera?
Yep.
Okay, sorry about that. Let me review real quick. If you are on the URL for our training system and you want to go to our live system, we have the ability to jump to the other system, as I said. We're going to work off of the training system today. I'm going to sign in again as I talked through all of this without you seeing it, so I apologize. Once we get into the system, this is our alert list. These are all of the alerts that we've sent or received in the system. And this one here that's in red is still active in the system. You can cancel or update that alert at this point. We'll jump back to this in a few minutes, but I first want to show everybody the COG settings. This is where you can, as a COG administrator only, go in to manage your COG digital certificate. If you have the certificate file and you know the key password and key store password, you can put those in. The other information is here for you for your COG, and you can manage that if it changes. You also have the ability to test the credentials for your COG. This basically means that you have a valid connection to the IPAWS open system and they recognize you. Your digital certificate is working. Tells you when your digital certificate will expire. And if we look down further, this is the COG profile that is set up in the IPAWS open system for all of the privileges that your COG has and how it can send to different dissemination channels. Geocodes that are associated with your COG. Mine has a few more than typical just because it's a test COG and some of the things that we've done for setup. It also allows the COG administrator to manage users in their COG. If somebody requests permission to this COG, this is where you can approve or deny them as a user. It also shows all the users that have previously had access to the system. You can change, you can give them COG administrator rights or remove that and change any of the permissions as well that you need. You can even revoke their access if they have left the position that they have with the department and you need to make sure that they no longer have access to the system. If as a user you want to change your password, you can do that through the account settings in the menu, and you just need to know your current password and you can add a new password. Let's go back and look at the alerts and talk really about the details of the system. If you want to create an alert from scratch, you click on the new alert or create a template. You do it the same way. When you get in here, there'll be a button at the top that says you can show the full alert, or you can go back to simple alert. You'll notice that a couple of the fields unhide themselves or hide themselves. A simple alert are the most commonly used fields, and they are the field or the required fields to get a message sent through the IPAWS open system. The full alert provides the remainder of the CAP 1.2 fields available for a full message. They are not required to send a message through IPAWS open, and it is data that is in the background if you needed to expand it. You could. Almost all of our clients deal with the simple alert. Here's really a three-step process then to sending the alert. The first thing we want to do is tell it what type of alert we want to send, like what are the dissemination channels we want to send out to. We could pick EAS, WIA, public alerts, NWIM, or a cog-to-cog message, CAP exchange. We can select the specific COGs that we want this to be copied to if we'd like. or just send it through the IPAWS system. The second piece that we need to do is actually put in where is the location that we're going to send this message to. So when you select your geocode that you're trying to send it to, the map will automatically zoom in. It'll outline that geocode for you. If you select multiple geocodes, it'll outline all of them so that you can see exactly what your alerting area is that you're privileged to. There are two things you can do here. You can create a polygon by just clicking multiple points, finishing back at the first point to close the polygon, or you can put a circle in. You can do multiple areas as long as you keep them inside of the boundaries of your cog permissions. Then the meat of the alert is the third thing we need. What exactly are we going to tell the folks in this area that we're trying to send to? You've got multi-selects for any of these that are open or an individual drop down. Because I chose both a WIA alert and an EAS alert, there are things like administrative messages that you could get in this list, but because you can't send one of those to one of those dissemination channels, it doesn't show up. So this list will limit itself down by an event that will go to each one of the channels that you chose. Again, you can choose multiple resource types. Your expiration date automatically goes out an hour from a default standpoint, but you can then change that to whatever you like if you want a default further out in time. You can also change the time zone in some of your cog settings and defaults. We can show you how to do that if you need to as well. You then have in your alert info block ability to enter in headlines for English or Spanish information blocks. You put both of those in. I'll show some of that filled in here in a minute. I just want to get through everything that can go into an alert. In your resources, you can add an audio file. You can actually start a recording if you would like to. And as you record that information and hit stop, it will then show up. Start a recording. So you can would like to, and as you record that information, play that right back, and that's going to be included with the message when it goes out. Or you could add a photo and load a photo from somewhere on your machine, or you can add a URL that will go with the message so that someone can look up a recorded audio file or other information as well. All right, I'm going to cancel out of this alert. I could send it from there if I had all the information in, or I could save it as a template so I could use it later. But I want to show you how we manage templates and how we use templates. If you show templates here, you'll get a list of all the ones loaded on your system. I currently only have one here, but I can go from there, hit the create alert button, and it will load all of the information that has been previously loaded for that alert. This happens to be a monthly test alert. You can tell that it's in Loudoun County, Virginia. There's a polygon drawn. I can add more information at this point if I want, if I need other information in the alert. But everything that has been preloaded is already there for me and ready to go. All I need to do is verify that everything looks good and send the alert. It'll tell me I'm sending it on my training system, and do I want to go ahead and submit it to IPAWS. When I submit it to IPAWS, give it a second so that it can come back with all of the information. And it'll come back and tell me that the message was sent with EAS and CMAS. I also have an ability to link to the IPAWS message viewer from right here. It will bring up the list of alerts I've sent. The most recent one is this one that just went through. And you can see from the IPAWS side, it's telling me that it went out to cell phones, it went out EAS for television and radio, and it was posted to their alert feed as well. I did not have NWIM chosen, so it obviously comes back with the red X on that. All right, let's go back to our system and look at alerts. One other thing I'd like to show you, because we have two separate and distinct systems, when you look at your templates, you have an ability to set up templates on the training system and send those through IPAWS, then verify that they are good alerts, that they work, and that they go through fine. You can then take those templates, you could download a template, and if I switched over and logged into my live system at this point, I could browse to where that template is, and I can take the template and upload it into my live system. So if this was my live system and I had prepared a template in my training system, I could then bring it up in my live system when there is an emergency. It would have the information that I had already put into that. It is now connected to the live cog, so it reconnects it to the cog number from live. If that's the system I loaded it into, obviously I loaded this into training, so it's still connected to training. You can tell it has information in both the English and Spanish blocks. I'm sorry, I'm not a Spanish speaker, so I have to use a little translate, and then it puts some other characters and stuff in there when it loads it. But with all of that information in there, I can go ahead and send that alert if it was on the live system in a time of emergency, or again, I can just test it here from the training system in order to get it go through. Again, this page that is returned when the alert is sent gives me all of the alert information that I put in. It also will show me the map to where I actually sent that alert. It will give me both my alert English information that I put in and Spanish information that was put into the system in terms of my headline, description, and instructions. And then it will give me the responses that come back from the IPAWS system again as well. There is a little bit of text here that does help the user some, but more so if there's ever any issue or we are trying to help our users in what it is that is going on with their messages that they're trying to get through on either the training or on the live system. This provides us an awful lot of information in order to help them out with where they may be having issues. That is the extent of everything that we do, getting alerts from you to your constituents through the IPAWS open system. Let me stop at that point and see if we've got any questions. I'm glad, Kiara, you said something so everybody could actually see what I was talking about.
Yes, we don't have any questions in the Q&A box, right, as of yet. But we did have one question here from one of the members of our TSSF, IPAWS Technical Support Center. The WIA handling code, which is normally that has to be chosen when you're selecting for WIA dissemination.
Yes.
Is there a way that you can, it's hard-coded now within the tool, but is there a way that you can make that so it's not hard-coded and you're able to choose that?
The WIA handling code is fixed based on saying that you're sending by WIA. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so why would you want to change it to something that is not valid for IPAWS?
Well, there's two options that you can choose when you are sending an IPAWS message.
Those being?
Imminent threat and public safety.
Okay. Is that new? Oh, no. Okay. So imminent threat is for certain event types. Public safety is for
Okay.
other event types. Am I correct?
Yeah, so it'll choose automatically based on the event type that
It
you
will
choose.
automatically put the value in that is correct based on the event type that you are sending.
Okay, all right. I
So,
think that was let me look at I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. It's perfect. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just checking the Q&A box, but I think that was all the questions that we had here and all that I'm seeing in the Q&A box. But if you're done presenting, I just wanted to show the slide with your information's there as well. But just wanted to let everyone know that if you think of any questions or if you want a copy of this recording, you can email justin.singer@fema.dhs.gov, and then vendor-specific questions you can ask Kirby Rice directly at kirby.rice@otgalerting.com.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, Kiara, and all of the IPAWS team. I appreciate so much what you all do.
Thank you, and talk to you later. Have a good day.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye. I'm sorry, Carissa, that was justin.singer@fema.dhs.gov.
Why don't you type it in there?